Welcome to the third video of the Creative Minds Crash Course series. Today's main topic will be English, where we'll dive into how to cite things by looking at MLA format. We'll also be talking about what an annotated bibliography is. First, let's start off by talking about what citations are. Citations are references to sources of information. It's the way of telling readers of a certain material, like your project or something like that, where your work has come from, or if it has come from other sources that aren't you or your basic knowledge. Citations are often times used in school for assignments and projects to let your teacher know what resources you used. This also helps to prevent you from plagiarizing, because if the work isn't your own information and you haven't cited where it's come from, that can be considered plagiarism. Now let's actually talk about how to do so. So when citing things, the citations will depend on what type of source you're citing, whether that be a book, a website, a video, a journal, an online journal, some stuff like that. Citations can also change depending on the type of format you're citing in. In this video, we'll be looking at MLA, but there's tons of different formats out there. Another thing to note about citations is that citations can be on the works cited page, which is a list of references which can commonly be referred to as the bibliography too. Then there are also things called in-text citations, where they're inserted into the piece of work itself instead of at the end like a works cited would be. The point of in-text citations is just to simply briefly document the source into kind of a shorter citation. It tells the reader to look into the reference lists once they're done reading to see where that specific piece of information came from, as the in-text citation is not a full citation. Citations can also vary from the edition of the formation. For example, MLA has a second edition or a revised edition, but usually the general format of citing stays the same with a few minor tweaks and changes. In this video, we'll be talking about MLA, like I said, in the second edition. Here's a table that shows you the type of source and how that citation would look like in the works cited page. So for example, for a book, you would start off with the author's last name, and then a comma, you would write their first name, the title of the book, the edition, the publisher, and the year of the publication. And then for the in-text citation, you would just put the author's last name and the page. So this is just a neat table to show you how to do it in MLA. Then there is the annotated bibliography. So after citations are done, an annotated bibliography can usually follow. It's not always the case, but sometimes. Under each individual listing for each citation, a paragraph is written below, around, not too long, around 250 words. It can be shorter or longer though. That kind of answers a few questions. The point of an annotated bibliography is to ensure the credibility of the source and to check for any bias. The paragraph can talk about why you use this specific source and how it applies to your content in the material. You also assess the reliability and authority by identifying what type of source it is and who wrote it on top of their credentials, and if they have the credentials to even be discussing that topic or issue. You can also mention, does the source itself include and provide a bibliography? Did the source use any other sources? And if they did, were those ones reliable? Is the source outdated? Is it old? If so, has it been updated to newer information? Could there be any potential bias, or does it cover all sides of the issue? You can also include an explanation of why that source is useful for your work. Was it the facts that you used? Was it the data, the analysis, the explanation, whatever it may be? This is an example of what an annotated bibliography can look like. The citation is at the top and then a short paragraph follows. If this video interested you at all, make sure to keep checking in here to see more videos from the Crash Course series. See you next time!